Hi everyone. Hope you all liked the talk show episode of the Positivity Movement from Real People, Real Lives. If you haven't watched it yet, just hop onto my YouTube channel and watch it. All my video content is now neatly organized in playlists and you can easily find them. Most of the videos have subtitles, so you can just on the English and the subtitles. And apart from Real People, Real Lives episodes, all the other videos are not longer than 5 minutes, so they won't take a lot of your time. Now, continuing with the online living room series. On my poster, I have mentioned 3 questions. Today, I'm going to address the first one. Why am I not satisfied? To understand satisfaction, let's do some gap analysis. A gap is defined as a break in continuity, an unfilled space or interval. So writer and founder of 3 gaps, Hyrum W. Smith, has classified gaps into 3 broad categories. The first one being the beliefs gap. The gap between the behaviors that meet our needs and those that do not. According to Harvard professor Catherine Kaufman's research on stereotypes and beliefs, women make up more than half of the labor force in developed countries, with Singapore leading by having almost 60% participation. Yet, they bring home less pay and fill fewer seats in the C-suite than men, particularly in male-dominated professions like finance and technology. Stereotypes play on our minds so strongly that it becomes tougher to convince people of women's talent in fields where they believe their gender is weak. You would think that correcting this confidence gap would be like saying, let's find talented women, let's boost their confidence and tell them, oh, you're good in maths, oh, you're good in finance, and you can do this. But Catherine's research suggests otherwise. This feedback is not only effective in closing this gender gap than we might hope. So you notice how generations of stereotyping has led women to widen the beliefs gap. The second one is the values gap. The gap between what we value and where we actually spend our time. So remember midlife crisis? This is a term coined by psychoanalyst Elliot Chucks in 1965. And following in 2014 article in The Atlantic by Jonathan Roch, there's something called as the U curve. This is a social science term referencing a dip in happiness that occurs in midlife around the world, even in apes. So other research suggests that women's happiness bottoms out around the age of 40. But in our generation, this is happening much, much earlier. You now have gynecologists telling us about perimenopause even as early as mid-30s. And the study of women's health across the nation confirms that average white women's experience of perimenopause is nearly 7 years. Asian women about 5 years, African American women about 10, and Hispanic women 9. Guess what's causing this? Stress. And this midlife crisis is when we begin to realize that our gap between our values of what we had thought of when we were in our 20s has widened so much, and this leads to a lot of confusion and lack of confidence. Let's talk about the third gap, which is the time gap. The gap between what we plan to do and what we actually do. According to a survey from the Harvard Business Review on the female economy, women now drive the world economy in consumerism. Globally, they control about $20 trillion in annual consumer spending, and that figure will rise to almost $28 trillion in the next 5 years. Yet, women do not prioritize consumerism for themselves. They have too many demands on their time and are constantly juggling conflicting priorities, life, family, work, etc. You know the drill. Even when women know that they may be overweight, they're prioritizing their health comes a good second or third after their family's needs. And I don't need to say this to you only by using these survey data points. You can notice that all around you, the way women prioritize themselves and how they find these gaps between values. Don't get me wrong, men also face this, but this program is particularly for women. Now, with COVID-19, the economy is going to see a huge shift. Some industries and domains are going to rise. Some industries and domains and jobs are going to take a dip. At this stage, it's still very early to know what's actually going to work out, but we know that it is evident. So in this, on the first session of the online living room series, this is what I'm hoping to work with my participants, to help you understand what's the gap that's brought you so far from your vision. Stay tuned, stay happy, stay safe. Thank you for watching.